The sky over the planet Nerith was dark, filled with thick smoke and fire. Explosions had stopped, but the ground was still shaking. Broken machines and fallen bodies were scattered everywhere. The war between the Zan Empire and the United Human Alliance had reached this quiet planet, and now it was nothing but ash and ruins. In the middle of the broken city, a young alien named Lyral lay under the remains of a metal wall. She was from the Tari species, peaceful, soft-skinned beings with gentle eyes and long ribbon-like ears. Lyral had never held a weapon. She was a medic, trained to heal and help others, not to fight. Her uniform was torn, and her side was bleeding. She pressed her hand against the wound, trying to stay awake. Her soft green skin was covered in dirt and ash. Her breathing was weak. Her medical bag was lost during the attack, and now she had nothing. She looked around slowly. The battlefield was silent. Her team was gone, her commander, her friends, even the young soldiers she had helped, and no one was left. She remembered the last moment before the blast. She had shouted for them to run. She had stayed behind to help. A wounded pilot. The explosion came fast. Then nothing. Now she was alone. Lyral tried to move, but pain shot through her body. Her legs were trapped under debris. She blinked and stared at the sky, gray and full of smoke. Time passed slowly. She did not know if it was hours or minutes. Suddenly she heard footsteps. Her heart jumped. She tried to hide, but she was too weak. The footsteps came closer. Harsh voices followed, deep and sharp, Zan soldiers. Their language was full of clicks and growls. "Only bones here," one of them said. "No use," said another. "Leave it." They did not even check if she was alive. They walked away, laughing coldly. Tears rolled down Lyral's cheeks, not because of pain but because they didn't even care. She was just another broken thing in this broken world. The night grew colder. Her body started shaking. She whispered in her own language, soft words of goodbye. She thought about her home on the green moon of Yelna, about the tall trees, and the songs her mother used to sing. "I did my best," she whispered. Then she closed her eyes. But Nerith was not done with her yet. Far away, another figure moved. Through the battlefield, a tall human in black armor, covered in dust and scratches. His name was Rayan. Rayan was a scout soldier, sent to search for survivors and lost equipment. His ship had crashed hours ago, but he didn't stop. He was tired, hungry, and wounded, but he kept walking. His duty was clear: find anyone still alive. He moved carefully between broken walls and crashed ships. His eyes scanned everything. Many times he found nothing, just silence. Then his motion tracker beeped. He stopped. Something was alive nearby. Moved toward a broken building. He saw metal pieces on the ground, and under them, a soft green hand. He rushed forward and pushed the metal aside. Under it, he saw her. An alien barely breathing. She was small, her face calm but pale. He saw the medic patch on her chest and understood. She was not a fighter, just someone who had stayed behind to help others. He checked her pulse. Still alive, he whispered. He took out a small healing pack from his belt. He sprayed her wound and wrapped it quickly. Then he looked around and saw a broken cart. He placed her gently on it, covering her with his jacket. "I've got you," he said softly. Lyral did not wake up, but her fingers moved a little. Rayan pulled the cart and led her back to a hidden shelter under the remains of a factory. It was not much, just a small room with some supplies, but it was safe. He placed her on a soft mat and gave her water through a tube. She was too weak to drink. On her own, he stayed up all night watching over her. He did not know who she was. He did not care if she was alien. She was alive, and that was enough. As the night went on, the wind howled outside. The war was still out there, but inside the shelter there was peace. Rayan checked her breathing again and whispered, "You're not alone anymore." Morning came slowly on the planet Nerith. The sky was still gray, and the wind carried the smell of smoke and burnt metal. But inside the small hidden shelter, there was quiet. Lyral opened her eyes for a moment. The world was blurry. Her body hurt and her lips were dry. She saw a roof above her made of metal and cloth. There was a warm blanket over her and soft light from a small lamp. She turned her head and saw someone sitting nearby, a human. He sat on a metal box, watching her. His face looked tired but calm. His armor was dusty, scratched in many places. A weapon lay beside him, but he didn't reach. For it, Lyral's heart began to beat faster. Her people had heard many stories about humans, strong, clever, dangerous. Some said humans could not be trusted. Others said they helped only their own kind. She tried to speak, but her throat was dry. The human stood and walked over slowly. His hands were open, empty. "It's okay," he said softly. "You're safe now." Lyral didn't understand every word, but his voice was not harsh. It was gentle. He held up a water tube and offered it to her. She looked at it, then at him. After a long pause, she took a sip. The cool water helped her speak a little. "Where am I?" she whispered olfactory. He replied, "Safe for now." Lyral tried to sit up, but pain shot through her side. She cried out and fell back. "Don't move too much," the human said. "Your ribs are cracked. You lost blood." He opened a small case and pulled out a healing pad. Carefully, he placed it on her side. It felt warm. "Who? You?" she asked slowly. "My name is Rayan, Scout Soldier, United Human Alliance," he said. She blinked. She had heard of that name before. The Alliance was the human side of the war, but she was not part of the war. She was a medic from the Tari. "Peace Force Loral," she said quietly. "Tari, not fighter." "I know," Rayan said. "I saw your patch. You're a healer." Lyral nodded. Her hand trembled as she touched the edge of the blanket. "Why help me?" she asked. Rayan looked at her for a moment. Then he sat back down. "Because you're still breathing," he said simply. "And that means you deserve a chance." Lyral didn't know what to say. For a long time, neither of them spoke. She looked around the shelter. It was small, just a storage room with old crates, broken screens, and a camp light. But it felt safe. Later, Rayan made her a warm drink using powder from his ration pack. It didn't taste good, but it helped. Lyral slowly gained more strength. That night, as the wind howled outside, she watched Rayan clean his weapon and check his supplies. He was careful, quiet, focused. She gathered courage to speak again. "Zaan still here?" "Yes," he said. "Small groups, scouts, looking for leftovers." Lyral's fingers cold. She remembered the voices. The soldiers who had walked past her thinking she was already dead. They didn't care. She whispered. Rayan looked up. "That's what they do. They break things, then leave." Lyral closed her eyes. "I was left, like trash." "Not anymore," he said. In the morning, Rayan helped her sit up. She could move a little now, though pain still came with every breath. He handed her a small screen with a map. "This area's still hot," he explained. "Too dangerous to send signal yet. We need to wait. Maybe move later." Lyral stared at the map. Her eyes stopped on one symbol. "Here," she pointed weakly. "My ship crashed here." Rayan looked 3 clicks west. "Bad zone. Fire's still active. My medkit may be inside," she said. Rayan nodded slowly. "I'll go." Lyral's eyes widened. "Alone?" "I've been worse places," he said with a small smile. "I'll be careful." Before leaving, he placed a signal alarm near her. "If someone comes, press this. I'll come fast." She watched as he slipped through the metal door and disappeared into the smoke. Hours passed. Lyral waited. Her ears, sharp for any sound, every breath hurt, but she stayed awake. She didn't want to miss the signal. She didn't want to be left alone. Again. Then dash movement. Not Rayan. 2 tall figures in Zaan armor came near the factory. Lyral held her breath. They passed the door. She reached for the alarm. One soldier turned. He stopped. She froze. But just as he stepped forward, crack, a sharp sound echoed from the ridge. The Zaan soldier fell. The second one turned, but another shot knocked him down. Footsteps. Rayan ran in, his rifle smoking. He looked at Lyral, then rushed to the door. He checked outside, then came back. "All clear," he said. She looked at him with wide eyes. "You came back." He smiled gently. "Told you I would." He handed her a medkit. It was old and damaged, but many tools inside still worked. "You're brave," she whispered. Rayan shook his head. "Just doing what's right." That night, as the sky above burned orange from distant fires, Lyral used the tools from her kit to clean her wound properly. Rayan watched with quiet respect. "Why you fight?" she asked softly. Rayan looked at the flickering lamp. "To protect," he said. "Not to destroy." Lyral nodded. Her people had always believed in peace, but now she saw that even in war, there were people like Rayan, people who chose to save instead of harm. As sleep came to her at last, she felt something she hadn't felt in many days. Hope. The third day on Nerith was colder. The sky stayed dark, as if the sun had forgotten this planet. Black clouds hung low. The air smelled like ash. Far away, small fires still burned in the broken cities. Inside the hidden shelter, Lyral sat up with her back against the wall. Body still hurt, but she could breathe more easily now. The healing bandage on her side glowed softly. She looked at the tiny flame of the lamp and then at the man sitting across from her. Rayan was cleaning his weapon again. He was quiet, like always, focused. His armor was scratched, but his eyes were sharp. He seemed strong, but not just in body. His heart was steady too. He had saved her life, brought back her medkit, and protected her from enemy scouts. But still, something inside her was unsure. Lyra Al had always been taught to avoid humans. Her teachers said humans were clever, fast, and too dangerous to trust. But this one Rayan was different. He had not asked anything from her. He had not even asked what side she was on. "Your people," she said slowly. "They tell you to help others." Rayan looked up. "Not all of them, but I choose to help. Even enemy." He shook his head. "You're not my enemy. You're a healer, and you're kind." Laurel looked down at her hands. Her long fingers were stained with dirt, her palms rough from crawling. She felt small, weak, but something about Rayan's words made her chest feel warm. "I was scared of you," she said. "I know," he replied. "That's okay." The wind blew against the shelter wall, making it rattle. Rayan stood and placed more metal sheets over the gaps. Then he checked his small radar screen. "Zaan patrols are close again," he said. "We might have to move soon." "There's a water plant to the south," he said, pointing at the map. "Still standing, maybe safe." Laurel nodded slowly. Moving would be hard. Her legs were still weak, but she didn't want to slow him down. "I can walk," she said. Rayan gave a soft smile. "We'll go when the smoke is thick, easier to hide." The day passed in silence. Laurel spent time fixing some tools from her medkit. She cleaned the healing gel and organized small patches. She also found a tiny scanner and checked Rayan's wound from Lia's shoulder had a deep cut from the last battle. "This will help," she said as she placed a cooling pad over his wound. He flinched slightly but didn't pull away. "You're good at this," he said. "I trained since small," she replied. "Healers are chosen early." Rayan nodded. "I wanted to be a builder. I never planned to fight." "Then why become soldier?" He looked at the lamp again. "Because someone I loved was hurt. I wanted to protect others so it wouldn't happen again." Liral didn't ask more. She saw the pain in his eyes, the way he spoke with quiet sorrow. She knew that feeling losing someone and not being able to help. Suddenly, a sound outside. Click, click. Rayan's hand moved fast to his weapon. He gave Liral a signal to stay low. He switched off the lamp, and the room fell into darkness. They waited. Another sound, metal scraping, then a loud thud. Something slammed against the outside wall. Liral's breath caught in her throat. Rayan moved silently toward the door, holding his rifle. He peeked through a tiny crack. His body stiffened. "Zaan," he whispered. He motioned for Liral to stay hidden behind the crates. Outside, footsteps. Voices in the Zaan language, sharp, clicking sounds. Rayan placed his hand on the alarm switch, but didn't press it. "Not yet." Then crash. One of the Zaan soldiers kicked the door open. A bright light flooded the room. Rayan fired once, then twice. The first enemy dropped. The second one returned fire. A flash of red heat hit the wall. Beside Rayan, he rolled to the side and fired again. The second Zaan soldier fell back, smoke rising from his armor. Silence. Only the soft crackle of the fallen lamp. Liral slowly came out from behind the crates. Her hands were shaking, but her face showed strength. Rayan stood, breathing hard. He looked at her. "Are you okay?" She nodded. "You're fine," he said, though his shoulder had started bleeding again. Liral rushed to him. "Sit, let me help." She pressed the healing pad back on the wound and added a gel patch. Her hands moved quickly, her voice calm. "Why didn't you leave?" she asked softly. "What do you mean?" "When they came, you could have escaped, but you stayed." "I couldn't leave you," he said. "You're not just a survivor, you're someone I believe in now." Her eyes filled with quiet emotion. No one had said that to her before. After the attack, they packed everything they could. It was no longer safe to stay. The shelter was found. More Zaan scouts would come. That night, they walked under the cover of smoke and moonlight. Liral leaned on Rayan as they moved through the broken city. They didn't speak much, but they both knew something had changed. Liral no longer feared him, and Rayan no longer saw her as just another mission. They were strangers brought together by war. Now, they were becoming something more. A team. The sky above Neroth was full of dark clouds. The fires in the distance had started to fade, but the air still smelled of smoke and ash. Buildings stood like broken bones, cracked and bent. Trees were burnt, and rivers were full of dust and fallen metal. But Rayan and Liral kept moving. Liral walked slowly, her body still weak, but her steps were stronger now. She leaned on a metal rod like a walking stick. Rayan walked beside her, holding a small scanner that showed the direction to the old water plant. They didn't speak much. Their bodies were tired, and the silence around them was heavy, but inside their hearts, a quiet fire burned. They were not giving up. "Almost there," Rayan said, checking the scanner. We should see the water plant soon. Lyral nodded. Her legs ached, but she didn't stop. We rest when we find cover, she replied, her voice soft but sure. After 1 hour of walking, they reached the top of a hill. From there they saw the old water plant in the valley below. It looked mostly untouched, its tall metal towers still standing, its main building hidden by trees and rock. It looks safe, Rayan said. Lyra Al narrowed her eyes. No fires, no guards, maybe no one here. Let's hope it stays that way. They moved down the hill, keeping low, stepping around broken wires and sharp rocks. As they entered the outer gate, Rayan checked every corner with his weapon. Ready. Inside the plant, they found a control room with thick walls and a heavy door. It had not been touched by the war. The lights were dead, but there were no signs of enemy movement. We can stay here, Rayan said. Lyra Al sat on a bench and took a deep breath. Her hands shook from walking so far, but she smiled. Feels like home compared to the last place. Rayan gave a short laugh. Anything with a roof is luxury now. They spent the next few hours setting up a small camp. Rayan connected a solar cell to power one light and the scanner. Lyral found a water filter and used it to clean some old storage water. For the first time in days, they had clean water to drink. Later, they sat together near the warm lamp. Rayan checked the scanner again. No signal yet, he said. The tower is old, may need repairs. I can help, Lyral said. I can help, Lyral said. Learned some tech work in medical school, Rayan nodded. We'll check it tomorrow. As they sat in silence, Lyral looked up at him. You always look serious, she said. He smiled a little. That's what my team used to say. You miss them. His eyes became distant. Yes, we landed here together. 5 of us, only I survived. Lyral placed her hand gently on his arm. I'm sorry. It's not your fault, he said. But it still hurts. I couldn't save them. You saved me, she said. He looked at her, surprised. That means something, Lyral added. Nodded slowly. It does. The next morning they climbed a tower behind the plant. It was tall and old, with vines growing on its sides. At the top, the antenna was bent, and some wires were missing. Rayan and Lyral worked together to fix it. He used tools from his pack. She held wires and connected parts. They didn't speak much, but they moved like a team. Try the signal now, Lyral said. Rayan pressed a button on his wrist device. The screen blinked, then showed a soft green light. Signal sent, Rayan said with relief. Now we wait. But their rest didn't last long. As they climbed down the tower, Rayan's scanner beeped. He stopped. Something's coming. Lyral's eyes widened. Zaan, maybe. Could be survivors, could be scouts. They rushed back to the control room. Rayan checked his weapon. Lyral prepared a small healing corner, just in case. Soon, they heard footsteps outside. Soft at first, then many. Rayan moved to the window and peeked out. It's not Zaan, he said. Lyral came beside him. Outside, a small group of alien refugees walked slowly through the gate. There were 6 of them, 3 adults, 2 children, and 1 old elder. They looked weak, hungry, and scared. Lyral stepped forward. Let me go. Rayan looked unsure. It could be a trap. They need help. I can see it. He nodded. Be careful. Lyral walked out slowly, her hands open. Elder stepped forward. He had gray skin and glowing blue eyes. He looked at Lyral and spoke in a soft voice. We saw your tower. We hoped someone was alive. We are, Lyral replied. You are safe here. They brought the group inside. Rayan gave them water. Lyral checked their wounds and gave them first aid. One of the children held her hand and said, Thank you. Lyral smiled. It had been so long since she had seen a child smile. Rayan stood nearby, watching. He saw Lyral working so calm, so gentle. He realized she was more than just a medic. She was a light in this dark place. That night, the refugees sat around the camp lamp, sharing food and stories. Lyral sang a soft song in her language. It was a healing song, full of hope and old dreams. Rayan listened quietly. When the song ended, he said, I think your voice could fix broken stars. Lyral looked at him with soft eyes. And you fix broken people. The signal tower blinked again. Hope was rising slowly, like the stars behind the smoke. They were not alone anymore. The signal tower on top of the water plant blinked. Softly, its green light cut through the gray clouds, flashing like a small star above the ruined land. Each blink carried a message. We are alive. Inside the water plant, Rayan watched the scanner. The signal was stable. It had been sent out every 10 minutes for the past 6 hours. No reply yet, he said. His voice calmed. Lyra Al sat near him, checking her medical supplies. Do you think someone will hear us? They will, Rayan replied. If any human ship is close enough, They'll catch the signal. We just have to stay alive until then, Liril nodded. Her ears moved gently as she listened to the quiet humming of the old machines around them. The place was peaceful for now. The small group of refugees was resting in a storage room nearby. The children had fallen asleep. One of the elders had shared dried fruit from a hidden pouch, and Rayan had given them some of his rations. Liril had treated their wounds and checked their breathing. We need more supplies, she said. Medicine, food, water. There's an old depot 2 kilometers east, Rayan replied. Might still have some useful things. I'll come, she said. No, Rayan shook his head. It's too dangerous out there. You stay. Protect the others. Liril looked at him with serious eyes. You're not the only brave one here, he smiled, just a little. I know, but if I don't come back, they'll need you. Liril wanted to argue, but she understood. Rayan moved fast. He could fight. She could heal and help others. That was her strength. Before he left, she placed a tracking tag in his pocket. If anything happens, I'll find you, she said. Rayan gave her a small nod, then stepped out into the grey world once again. The sun stayed hidden as he walked through broken roads and blackened trees. His weapon was ready, his eyes sharp. The scanner on his wrist blinked quietly, showing the way to the depot. It took him over an hour to reach it. The depot was half buried under fallen rock, but the back door was open. Inside, the shelves were dusty, but many boxes were untouched. He opened a few and smiled. Food packs, water tablets, and even a small medical drone. Perfect, he whispered. He loaded a bag with supplies and turned to leave. That's when he heard it, a buzzing sound, sharp, electric, and rising. His heart froze. Zaan war drone. It hovered outside the depot, scanning the ground. Its red eye blinked as it turned toward him. Rayan ran. He jumped through a window as a bright red beam hit the wall behind him. The heat cracked the stone. The drone followed. Rayan rolled behind a broken car and fired his rifle. The drone dodged quickly. It shot again, and fire spread across the grass. He threw a smoke bomb, filling the air with thick white mist. The drone spun in confusion. Rayan used the moment to escape into the trees. He ran fast, breathing hard. The supply bag bounced against his back. He didn't stop. The drone followed the smoke, missing him by a few seconds. Back at the water plant, Liril stood outside the main door, holding her scanner. She saw the red signal flash. Her chest tightened. Trouble, she whispered. The children saw her face and became quiet. One of the elders stepped closer. What is wrong? Rayan's in danger, she said. He's not far. I need to help, but it's not safe, the elder warned. She looked at them, then at the sky. He saved me. Now it's my turn. Liril moved quickly, using the tracker to follow Rayan's signal. She took her small medic kit and a flare gun. Her feet moved fast, even though her body still hurt. She found him in the trees, leaning against a rock, breathing hard. A burn mark covered his shoulder, and smoke came from the ground behind him. Liril, he said, surprised. I told you to stay, and I told you, she said while kneeling. You're not the only brave one. She cleaned the wound and used the medical drone to spray healing mist. The burn cooled, and his breathing became steadier. We need to move, he said. The drone's still out there. As if hearing him, the buzzing returned. The drone flew above the trees, red eye blinking. They ran. They reached a broken tunnel under the old road and hid inside. The drone hovered above for a long time, then finally flew away. Inside the tunnel, they rested. You risked your life for me, Rayan said. Liril smiled. You did it for me many times. He looked at her, her eyes shining in the dark, her hands covered in dust but still steady. She had become more than just a medic. She was his partner now. They waited until the signal showed the area was clear. Then they returned to the water plant with the supplies. The children cheered. The elders clapped. Rayan handed out food packs and water. Liril gave out medicine and treated new cuts. That evening they sat near the signal tower. The light still blinked soft and steady. Rayan looked up. Still no reply. But someone will come, Liril nodded. They'll follow the light. A child sat beside them and pointed at the sky. Look, a tiny light moved across the clouds, small and fast. Rayan jumped up. It's a drone ship from the Alliance. Liril's heart filled with joy. They saw us. Rayan raised the flare gun and fired into the sky. A bright green flame burst high, shining over the plant. The drone ship changed direction. It was coming toward them. Everyone watched with wide eyes as hope finally took shape in the sky. Rayan placed his hand gently on Liril's shoulder. You did it, he said. No, she replied. We did it. The green flare still floated in the sky like a bright flower, slowly fading. For a few seconds, the ruined world of Neroth felt full of hope. Rayon and Leroy stood at the top of the water plant tower, watching the Alliance drone ship as it flew toward them. The children and elders inside the building clapped and cheered. For the first time in many days, there was joy. They saw us, Leroy said, smiling. They did. Rayon nodded. Now we just need to stay alive until they land. But hope doesn't always come alone. From the north, hidden in the shadows of burnt trees, a new danger approached Sarin patrol squads, and with them, 2 more war drones. The flare had not only called friends, it had also called enemies. Inside the water plant, Rayon checked his scanner. His face became serious. Trouble, he said. Leroy looked over his shoulder. Zahn, yes. A group is moving this way. About 10 soldiers, 2 drones. Can we run? No, they're faster, and they'll follow us. She looked at him. Then we fight. Rayon took a deep breath. We protect, we defend. He turned to the group of refugees. We don't have much time. Everyone needs to stay low and follow instructions. The elder stepped forward. We are ready. Rayon quickly gave orders. The adults helped block the lower doors with crates and old pipes. The children were moved into the strongest room, deep inside the plant. Leoral gave out healing pads, water, and food, just in case. Then she helped Rayon set up defenses. They placed traps near the broken entrance. Wires, sharp metal, and a smoke bomb system made from old tools. Leroy even rigged a flare pack to explode on impact. Rayan looked at her with surprise. You've done this before. She smiled faintly. In training, we learned emergency tactics. You're full of surprises. You're not so bad yourself. They both smiled, but it was a short smile. Outside they could hear the sound of footsteps. The Zahn had arrived. The first blast came fast. Boom, the outer gate was destroyed. Smoke filled the air. Rayon raised his weapon and took position near the window. Here they come, he said. Zahn's soldiers moved through the smoke, their armor shining under the broken sky. One stepped on a hidden wire. A small blast threw him back. The rest moved carefully, but Rayon was ready. He fired in short bursts. One enemy dropped. Another was hit in the leg and dragged away. Then a loud buzzing came. The war drone flew above the building and fired a laser at the wall. Crack, the wall shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Children cried inside the safe room. Leroy rushed to them. Stay calm, we are here. Rayan moved to a better spot and fired at the drone, but it dodged quickly. We need to bring it down, he shouted. Lyra Al came running. She held the flare pack she had prepared. This might work, she said. Rayan looked at it. You sure? No, she replied, but it's all we have. She climbed up to the second floor where the roof was partly open. The drone flew low, trying to break through the main gate. Lyra waited, her hands steady. Then she jumped up, aimed and threw the pack. The flare hit the drone and exploded. Boom, the drone spun, sparks flying, and crashed into the side of the building. Cheers broke out below, but the fight was not over. 2 Zahn soldiers had reached the inner hallway. One fired toward the refugee room. Rayan ran forward and blocked the path. He fired once, twice. One soldier dropped, and the other fled, but not before Rayan took a hit in the side. He fell to one knee. Leroy rushed to him, her eyes wide. You're hurt. I'm fine, he said, breathing hard. No, you're not. She helped him sit down and pressed a healing gel into the wound. Stay still, let me fix this. He looked at her, pain in his eyes. You should be with the others. I am with who needs me. For a moment, they looked at each other. Smoke filled the hallway, and outside, more sounds came, more soldiers approaching. The second drone, they had little time. Rayon stood, gripping his weapon. Leroy touched his arm. You can't fight like this. I can't stop now. She nodded. Then we fight together. The final battle was quick but fierce. The last Zahn drone flew low and fired at the tower. Rayon and Leroy climbed to the top again. Rayon aimed, but his hands shook. Leroy steadied him. You aim. I pull the trigger, she said. He nodded. Together they fired the last explosive shot. It hit the drone's center. Boom. The drone fell, spinning and burning, and crashed outside the gate. Silence followed. Then dash. Nothing. No more enemies came. The Zahn had lost this fight. Inside, the refugees came out slowly. The elder walked to the main hall and looked at the 2 protectors. Rayan leaning against the wall, his face tired but proud, and Leroy holding the last medpack in her hand. You saved us, he said. No, Leroy replied. We saved each other. That night, they sat on the roof again. The tower still blinked its green light into the sky. The building was quiet. The children slept. The fire was out. The world outside was still broken, but something inside was healing. Rayan closed his eyes. I didn't think I'd live to see this day. You will see many more, Lirel whispered. He looked at her. Because of you. She shook her head. Because of us. Above them, the clouds parted. A soft hum filled the air. Lyra Al looked up. Do you hear that? Rayon stood slowly. A ship was coming. This time, not a drone. A real one. From the sky. A human rescue ship began to descend. Help had arrived. The rescue ship floated gently above the broken land of Neroth, its lights cutting through the smoke, like stars piercing the night. It hovered just above the tower where Rayan and Liril stood. Tired but standing tall, a voice came through Rayan's wrist device. Scout Rayan of the United Human Alliance, we received your signal. Preparing for pickup, are there survivors? Rayan pressed the button. Yes, refugees, children, one injured human, and he looked at Liril and smiled. One very brave Medek, copy that, the voice said. We're sending down the transport module. Stand by. The ship lowered a small shuttle pod. Its metal legs touched the ground outside the water plant, stirring up dust and leaves. A ramp opened, and 2 human rescue officers stepped out, their armor bright and clean, their hands open and friendly. Rayan led them inside. This way, he said. The refugees watched from behind crates, unsure at first. But when the officers smiled and offered food and water, the fear melted away. The children came out first, holding each other's hands. The elders followed. One officer turned to Rayon. You did well. I didn't do it alone, he said. Lyra Al came forward, holding a small, injured child. This one needs attention first, she said calmly. The officer looked at her for a moment. Tari, he asked. Yes, Rayan replied. She's not a soldier, she's a medic. She saved more lives than I did. The officer nodded respectfully. Then we thank her. Liril looked at Rayon, her eyes shining. She had never imagined this moment would come. She had been left for dead. Now, she stood in the light of rescue, stronger than ever. 1 hour later, everyone was aboard the rescue ship. The wounded were resting. The children were eating warm food. Rayon sat in the medical bay, his shoulder finally treated by advanced tools. Liril sat beside him, watching the stars through the window. So quiet now, she said. Yes, Rayon replied. No gunfire, no running, just space. Liril closed her eyes. I never thought I'd leave that planet alive. You almost didn't, and neither did you. He chuckled. You kept pulling me back. She smiled. That's what healers do. A soft chime rang in the room. A screen lit up, showing the map of nearby systems. The ship was heading toward a safe station in the outer zone where survivors would be taken care of, fed, and given new homes. You can stay with your people now, Rayon said. They'll take you to the Tari base. Liril looked at him. And you, I'll be sent back to the human command. Maybe reassigned. Maybe rest. She was quiet for a moment. Then she spoke gently. I don't want to be apart. Rayon turned to her. Me neither. They sat in silence again, not because there was nothing to say but because they understood each other without words. Later, in the ship's main hall, one of the human officers made an announcement. All survivors, please prepare for ID check and station placement. Each species will be transferred to their home command unless special request is made. Liril looked at Rayon. He nodded. They walked up to the officer together. I wish to stay with him, Liril said. If that is allowed. The officer raised an eyebrow. That's not common. I know, she said. But we survived together. We fought together. That makes us more than just human and alien. Rayon stepped forward. I'll sign whatever form is needed. The officer smiled. We'll see what we can do. War makes strange families. Liril tilted her head. We are not strange. We are chosen. 2 days later, the ship docked at Hope Station, a large space platform floating above a calm blue planet. It was full of light, clean rooms, and quiet music. Medical teams helped the refugees. Engineers repaired ships. Children laughed as they played near the gardens. Rayon and Liril sat on a bench in the observation deck, watching the stars move past the glass wall. I've been in many battles, Rayon said, but I've never felt peace like this. Not every battle is with guns, Liril replied. Sometimes, the hardest battle is staying kind in a world full of pain. He looked at her and nodded. Then, you've already won. She smiled and leaned her head against his shoulder. Maybe we both did. The command later approved Liril's request. She would stay with the Human Alliance as a special medic. For joint missions, her record of saving lives on Nereth helped change old rules. Rayan, once just a scout, was given the Medal of Honor for bravery and for rescuing multiple civilians, but both of them knew their true reward was something more quiet, more real. They had found trust where no trust was expected. They had found friendship in a place full of fear. And maybe, just maybe, they had found something deeper one evening. While walking through the garden section of the station, Rayan stopped near a tall tree. "Do you remember the first thing you said to me?" he asked Lira. Al thought for a moment. "You mean after I stopped thinking you were going to shoot me?" He laughed. "Yes," she smiled. "I asked, why help me?" He nodded. "And I still remember what I said, because you're still breathing." She touched his hand. Now we breathe together. They stood there, under the quiet leaves, as soft lights glowed around them. No more war, no more fear, just a new beginning. Written by two souls from different worlds. And a story that would be told again and again, left for dead. Rescued by a brave human soldier, but also rescued by a brave medic from another world.